Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as shall we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where honestly I did not expect to be recording right now. I was expecting to be leaving right now to go see a movie, and I will be. It's just it's been pushed back a little bit. So you know, it's like, well, might as well record Animal Crossing now rather than recording at like midnight, as I can't speak, midnight, as I seem to be doing over most recent days. Nonetheless, we're relaxing, we're having a good time, as, hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 6:06 PM on Friday, March 6th, 2026. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about, necessarily, as a lot of times I don't really know what I'm going to talk about, but that is just sort of part of the course. If anything, I'm just sort of getting stuff ready, packing stuff up. I know which train I'm going to go catch. So I've got just enough time to record Animal Crossing, probably a bit on the shorter side than this one, despite the fact I'm recording still somewhat early. I guess we'll just talk about something random, to be honest. And what about random topic be? That is a great question, dear darling. Of course I have one prepared. Of course I can just... Wait a minute. I can use right click to do stuff on MS Paint instead of left click, at least with the select tool. What? That's crazy. This entire time, because if you don't know, I've had these mouse issues for ages. It never even occurred to me that I should just do that, and then I'll just make the secondary colour what I want, because my right click's not broken. It's my left click which is broken. Why did it never occur to me to do this? I have no idea. Well, now I know. Maybe I should just switch over to being a left-handed mouse, and maybe that will solve issues, because I do try and use my mouse left-handed reasonably often, not all the time mind you, but like, I don't know, it's like just a workaround which I've never thought about, which I definitely should have been using, but then I probably would have never actually ordered a new mouse, mind you. It is the same mouse, it's just the next version of it, because that's kind of what I was curious about, and I was going to buy one a while back and then I ended up not doing it, but here we are, don't turn away now. Yeah, I don't know, it's just one of those funky workarounds. Wow, there's actually much better workaround. I didn't even think about this. I should really just be using this as a left-handed mouse or something. Of course, right-click doesn't work for absolutely everything. I think the most annoying thing that I've been finding myself doing is that I've been accidentally double-clicking when I'm just trying to select once, and then it just like deselects it. But one big thing is when I'm like closing a window or something, and then it just double-clicks and then it closes another window beneath that, which is very frustrating, because it's like, oh, I don't even know what was the other window beneath it, and I've had to figure out, like, what window's missing, and I'm like, oh, it's this window, like, oh, where's my music gone or something, and it's just like, okay, well, how do I get around that? I guess I use Control W, or I just stack up my windows so I tactically don't have such the close window button are all right next to each other. I'm always a bit conscious of relying on workarounds, because I'm just sort of like, if you get too comfortable with a workaround, it's at the sort of point where it's like, oh, I should just be like getting a new thing, right? I should just be, instead of getting used to the workaround, just like fixing the core issue, no? Maybe or may not. Your mileage may vary, I'd imagine. And probably it kind of depends on what on earth you're doing. Yeah. What else am I going to talk about? I don't really know, to be honest. I guess we'll sort of just have to figure it out. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what other sort of weird workarounds I've done in the past to deal with things, you know. It's a bit difficult just to think off the top of your head. As it always is to think off the top of your head of like, oh, give an example of XYZ thing, which has been happening. Wait a minute, has the new Amazing Digital Circus episode come out? So I was just looking at my Instagram and I saw like a breakdown of an animation. I was like, what episode is this from? Hold on a second. Amazing Digital Circus. It's really hard to tell because it keeps giving me weird Among Us recommendations, which I don't want to listen to. No? Okay. Maybe it's just a preview or something. I don't really know. Who can say? Well, maybe I can find it again and then I can be like, oh yeah. I can read the description instead of immediately axing out, being like, oh no, spoilers. There's a lot of random things which end up on the front page of Instagram. Whoa. A lot of good things as well. Discoverability off the charts, eh? Half these things are not even for people I'm following. But this is sick. Wait, hold on. Oh wait, I already follow you on a different social media. Anyway, not a point in workaround. What's a weird workaround? How to deal with? I feel like I've spoken about workarounds before. I mean, but one that always sticks in my mind is when my video card broke. And I basically just took the case off, the side of a case of my PC case off to make sure that I could like air it out so it's not too, it wouldn't overheat essentially. And then like whenever it stopped moving, I sort of like lightly tap it to get it like restarted once again. Because that's all it took really for the fan to get going once more. Which is probably a little bit strange, but nonetheless. It is also raining at the moment. That was a good point. I said I was gonna make sure I had an umbrella ready. So I bring a teeny tiny umbrella, keep it in my pocket. But yeah, I have sort of weird workarounds. I'm trying to think, because I'm sure like this is ripe for something I did during my university days to be like, oh yeah. Didn't want to have to actually properly deal with this situation, so I just instead did this sort of workaround. But I can't really think of something off the top of my head. I do remember the first time. No, wait. Yes. There was some workaround with a kitchen when our hob broke or something. Our stovetop broke. And I can't remember what I did. What did I eat for like that while? I think I just ate like because you can use the oven as like the microwave as a microwave oven. Like I mean that's what it's called, but you can use that as like an oven. And I made like a load of pasta bakes or something. Or maybe I didn't. Something like that. It's not a very interesting workaround. There's one with a bathroom tap where it turns out that basically if you pulled it all the way down, it would still leak a little bit. It's basically its off mode was, if you imagine it from being from 0 to 100 as a regular tap and lock in those positions, but off mode was somewhere like at 10% or something. And if you brought it down to 0, it would actually be like a -10 where it would like reopen the valve a little bit. How does that work? I don't know. There's probably like whatever's blocking it just like overshot now when it goes to 0. So it's just sort of like, oh, well, how do you close the tap? You just sort of bring it all the way down to the bottom and lift it up ever smallest amount. You would have thought a leaky tap would be something which would be easier to resolve, but who knows? What other sort of workarounds are there? Good question. I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else to even talk about now. What other workarounds have I had? I feel like if I ever had like a very big workaround, I'd probably just be like, okay, I'm not putting up with that. I'm just gonna I'm gonna, you know, properly, like, not properly deal with a situation, but at least minimize the effort, right? It seems like a lot to deal with otherwise. Maybe not, maybe not. Your mileage may vary, I think, when it comes to it. And it's tough to think of something. Why, oh why? Why, oh why? Oh why? Dun 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 da 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 da. Yeah, what are some weird workarounds? I'm trying to think of something crazy. Actually, there was a long period of time, I remember it back in, when I was much younger, when I was a child or something, where the internet would basically, it would just require such frequent resetting of a router. It would just be like a standard thing that the internet would work for like, I don't know, a couple of hours or something, and then it would just, unexplained, it would just stop working. And it was something which could be fixed just by unplugging, waiting 30 seconds and replugging the router. Except, well, it happened, like, that's a pretty standard thing. But also a pretty standard thing is that the internet just works straight up for a while. For a lot longer than just a couple of hours, mind you. But that was like such a common thing. But when the internet goes down, it'd just be like, oh, who's going to go down and actually like reset the router? And a lot of the times, because I use the internet a lot, I was like, okay, obviously I'm going to do it every time. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, I couldn't be bothered. Let's just wait for someone else to discover and go do it. And I'm sure there's some sort of like invisible game with chicken in there, where it's like, oh, I don't really want to go down to, you know, all the way downstairs to unplug the router and replug it back in. It wasn't even that far. Like literally, it would have taken like 30 seconds, but still, you know. You're a preteen, you're like, oh, I'm so comfortable watching my YouTube video, Let's Play Last of Us, part 37. Or something like that. That's what it's all about. What sort of like weird workarounds have I been? It's genuinely really hard to think of something. Because I can't imagine myself, but I mean, there probably is. This is probably difficult to think of it, but I'm sort of like imagining like a major inconvenience to me now. And being like, how readily would I sort of deal with it? Like this mouse one, like as soon as it started happening, I was like, I kind of want to replace my mouse just immediately. But I'm like, okay, no, we should sit out with it a little while, see if it's try and properly fix it. And we did some things, and now it's gotten to a point where it's like, okay, it's going to be pretty impossible, it feels like, to fix. And if it keeps happening, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to crash out. So let's save myself a hassle. Just buy a new mouse. Keep it simple, you know? That's what it's all about. But yeah. What else is going on? I don't know. Do. I'm trying to think of something about happened with YouTube where it was like, what felt like a workaround when I had to do something one specific way or another. I can't really think of something. I guess some of it is just kind of like, it's a bug. The only thing I can think about is when I stream. Like I have like a thing on which looks up a web browser to see what chill hop song is playing and puts on the screen. But it works in reverse to how I think, because normally I try and sort of separate this tab out, but if I drag the chill hop screen to a different window, then it latches onto the previous screen rather than the new chill hop screen. So I had to drag every other tab out of a chill hop screen, which is inverse to how my mind works. with these sort of things, but who knows. Anyway, on that note, I'll probably just round this episode up here. I don't know what I'm talking about. Was it the best conversation topic? No, not really, I'm going to be honest. I couldn't think of any good examples. I'm losing my mojo when it comes to conversation, it seems, but anyway, on that note, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been there, darling. Likes, comments, discussion, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see you again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.